This podcast recording is brought to you from the staff and friends of ibslife.net. Each broadcast contains discussion about matters of health and well-being related to IBS that can affect anyone with the condition. All views expressed within these podcasts are personal opinions only and must not be construed as medical advice.
Hello and welcome to the next edition of our IBSLife.com podcast series. My name's Kevin.
And my name's Rick.
And I'm Sian.
And we're here to talk to you today about a subject that's dear to our hearts, working from home, or basically trying to earn an income or doing things which you can do for yourself due to the restrictions you have with IBS. It's very hard to get out in employment sometimes, as you two both know yourselves.
Yeah, there sort of comes a time, doesn't there, where you actually start to think about. I mean, if you're like running the gauntlet every morning when you're just travelling to work. I mean, it's bad enough in a car. If you're on public transport, it's got to be even worse. And
also even just the stresses, I suppose, of working in an environment with other people, or just being told that you're going to be at a desk for X amount of hours and you can't move, or if you're on a production line in a factory or a warehouse.
Or imagine working in a call centre.
Or in a call centre.
I have worked in a call centre.
And
that's why I gave it up. Yeah, actually, it was before I met you.
How was it?
Awful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
awful.
apart from the fact that call centres are incredibly stressful, which doesn't help with IBS. They do treat you as if you are just plugged into that desk until, your lunch break or until the end of the day. And if you have IBS, it's absolutely
Can you give us some of the
awful
experiences you've had in employment, where you've been in employment and...
Yeah, I mean, I remember because I've nearly always done reception work, which means you have to keep answering the phone. And one morning I just had severe IBS and I had to keep going to the ladies. And I asked one of the girls if they could keep an eye on the phone for me because I had a bad stomach. But the third time, a manager said to me, what's the problem? And I said, I've got IBS and I just can't help it. I have to keep going to the toilet. And they said, well, you're employed to answer the phone. And I thought, what do you want me to do exactly? Do you want to clear up the mess if I just don't go to the toilet? The point is, I know employers employ you in your time, but the body doesn't know that. Your body doesn't know that, and it doesn't care, to be honest. And yeah, I did. The thing is, you get so angry because you just think, well, you do it for a day. You have this for a day, and then see what you think about it to the manager. And for various reasons, not that alone, but stress and depression, I did have to leave that job.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know we've done a podcast on working with IBS and this sort of touches on it, but yeah, there must come a time when you just start thinking about, well, how am I going to change this? How am I going to work from home? A lot of people would say, well, hang on a minute, if you work from home, and surely you're kind of giving into it. You're letting it defeat you. You're not fighting it. You're not. You're allowing it to take control of your life. How would you respond to that?
I don't care if people say that. No, I really don't. Live with IBS and then just.
The thing is, like any kind of disability, you have to do the best you can with the abilities you have got.
Yeah.
And if it means that you can work from home because whatever reasons you cannot get out, then why not?
I think the point is that stress is not good for you for many reasons, not just that some people's IBS is purely, like mine is stress related, and stress makes it worse. So if you can, but it also has effects on other health issues in your body, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Stress is a
killer. It's poison, isn't it? It's extremely poisonous thing. So if you can reduce stress in any way, whatsoever, then I think that's a good thing.
But even if you're working from home, you still have stresses. For example, it's not as easy just to say, give up a job, go and work from home. What do you do? What can you do? You either got to have a skill, you got to have a product, you got to have something that you can give back to society, or something you can do. And for the average person, it's like, how do you do it?
It's a case of, well, you it's something you have to sit down and kind of figure out, isn't it? I mean, the way I see it is there are so many people that work from home and work for themselves. You know, they're obviously doing something right. You just kind of got to...
It can be done. It's just it can be done. You've done it yourself, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I work from home.
Exactly. There you go. You know, it can be done. If you are lucky, there's different ways. You know, if you're into website building, you can create certain websites. If you got a passion or something that you enjoy or something you do.
Well, that's actually one of the things I've done.
That's with your gardening.
My gardening website. I love gardening, and I actually wrote a website on gardening, and that actually provides me with an income.
That's really good, isn't it? I'm really glad about that, because you hit a niche there, isn't it?
That's right.
That's quite important, really. If you can find a niche that other people are interested in, and not many other people are dealing with on the internet, then often that will. Because yours just exploded, didn't it? It just went.
Yeah. Well, you do. There's a certain way you do it, and I had to learn how to do that. I didn't know how to do it to start with. But I mean, working from. I mean, the internet is fantastic because it does enable people to work from home.
So many things you can do on the internet, isn't it? It's like the thing is, I often get people say to me, Kev, I'd love to be there, but I just don't know what to do. I know you learn.
Yeah,
it's like anything.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared. You have to give some effort. Most people, you say, "What are you doing to change your life?" They say, they complain about things. Oh, I'm not doing this. I hate going to work. I hate doing that. What are you doing different?
Yeah.
What are you doing different? Like they always say, I can't remember who said it. Would be big self-help gurus, I'm guessing. You know, if you keep doing the same things now, you're going to get exactly the same results in 5 years from now.
Yeah.
So unless you change what you're doing now, and baby steps as well.
Yeah.
You know, they say, well, I would like to try and sell stuff on eBay. I don't know how eBay works.
Well, learn.
Exactly. There's plenty of resources on websites. You can learn to sell stuff on eBay. You can actually buy books. That will take. And you just study them at your own pace. You don't have to try and learn it in a weekend. It could take you days, weeks, months, or even years.
Yeah.
Because my mother's going to be going for the same thing. You know, she's working in her job. She's actually suffers from IBS as well. I think she put something on the website before, didn't she?
Yeah, she has.
And you know, she deals with it, but she's looking to the stage now where she would like to be able to work from home, mainly because of my father being not very well as well. And how can I help that? Be there for them more.
Yeah.
And she's into eBay, and she's now starting to learn how to sell stuff on eBay, which is one of the things when your business as well, isn't it?
When I left my job, I mean, it was so stressful. My job.
Is that when you worked at Honda?
No, I moved on went back to engineering, and I was in there for getting on towards 10 years, I think. And yeah, it was just so stressful. The whole IBS thing, it was really getting me down. I just absolutely hated every moment I spent in this place. And in the end, I left. But at the time, I was on the side. I was selling things on eBay. I was doing artwork, and I was selling art pieces on eBay. And
but no one taught you that. You taught yourself, didn't you?
No, I shouldn't say this, but I went through eBay to see what I could start selling and doing, and I went through the art section, and I saw all these paintings that people were getting sort of £70-80 a pop for, and I thought, I could do that.
That's right. That's using your initiative, isn't it?
Probably true. Yeah.
So I started doing it. I bought some canvases, got some paint, started daubing. I can't draw for love nor money, but I just started daubing paint onto these canvases and started putting them up on eBay, and people started bidding on them.
Exactly.
And next thing I knew, I was starting to get an income that was nowhere near what I was getting from the engineering income, but it was enough to cover my basic bills. And I thought, hang on a minute, I could be onto something here. So I just kind of ramped up production and ended up walking out of my job. That was another story. But yeah, and then the eBay sustained me. And what happens is, most people who have their own businesses will tell you this, that you start off as one thing and you tend quite often to evolve. And as you go along with the business, what other things just kind of come into
different circumstances? Like in your case, you were getting complaints from your neighbours because of gas fumes or something.
Oh yeah, I was using spray paint. So I had complaints from my neighbours.
So you adapted.
So I had to adapt, and in the end, I kind of evolved into a printing company.
Yeah.
And I bought a big large format printer and started printing canvases. I'm still doing that now.
Yeah.
And so that's that's that again. It pays the bills, and it's enabled me.
In fact, that's one thing I was going to say. Actually, often it's one of these self-help things. Multiple streams of income. You try and generate. Don't just rely off one. If you
Absolutely.
can, have different fingers. Different pies. And the thing is yourself. You've had like the printed stuff, you've had your eBay stuff, you've had the YouTube success as well. He's a YouTube legend.
Well, wouldn't quite go that far, but,
but the thing is, though, it brings an income in, and it's
just all little trickles from different
and
sources.
Different streams. So if ever any was to dry up, you got the other ones that are starting to bring in income for you, and it's passive income, which is good as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's the key. If anybody is looking at working from home, one of the great things that you need to look at is being able to earn money whether you're awake or asleep. And you can do that. I mean, like for example, the website, what you do is you spend several months building a website, so you're kind of putting in the hard work up front, and you can do it, in your evenings, your spare time. And what happens is once all the hard work's been done up front, then you just go into a maintenance phase, and then perhaps once a week just go in and maintain and answer emails and do things like that. And it's almost like writing a book. If you write a book, you put all the time and effort into doing the actual bulk of it,
and leave it out in the market.
And then once it's out there, it will go on earning an income for the rest of the time.
Talking about that, you also made some albums, haven't you? Music albums and books.
Well, that's I made some.
Between us all, we did the meditation one. We did the midlife meditation, which is doing quite well.
That was quite a fun little project. We did that mainly because we're all Lord of the Rings fans.
Big fan, like yourself, Sean. You're well into Lord of the Rings. We love our meditation. There's a market there.
Yeah,
put something together.
Yeah, and
that's just using our noggins and coming up with something.
That's right. We created something called Middle Earth Meditations, which was just me doing a voiceover. Sean wrote the actual script, meditation, and Kev was involved with the production of it. And that was just, but that revolved around a hobby that we all kind of share.
That's the best way you can do it. If you can find something you love or something you enjoy doing, how easy would you say? Because you do your writing, Sean. How easy is it say to become an author? Self-published. You've been self-published, haven't you?
Yeah, self-publish. If you can write a story and format it properly, then and go to Lulu or something like that.
Yeah.
Public.
Well, the biggest problem you've got with doing something like that, though, surely
is advertising it.
It's marketing.
Yeah, it's getting it out there.
You have to get marketing, unless you're using affiliate marketing. Unless you make a product, take it to somewhere like, I don't know, there's a company called ClickBank or some. Was it ClickBank?
ClickBank. Oh, there's loads.
There's a variety. You post your products on there, and then other people sell it for you.
Yeah.
So you've got skilled people that know about internet marketing, know how to get your things seen. Because it's all about putting your product in the right place and people like to buy it. Because the thing is, you can stand on a street corner with your book saying, I don't want to buy this book, no one's interested. But if you've got marketers know what they're doing, they stick it in front of the right people that are going to want to buy your book. They then take a commission off of the sale you get and you make an income from it.
And this is where the internet comes into it.
Big time. Because
you've got a potential world audience.
So what would you say, though, to people that might listen to this and don't know how to, for instance, set up a website? Because that's a good thing.
But we've used different things. One of the biggest ones that has really helped us.
I know there are free websites you can build.
SiteSales are fantastic.
We use SiteSale. We actually use SiteSale for the IBS site.
Yeah, helped us get set up on this. Mainly because you didn't have a knowledge of how to set up a website, was it? We'd have no idea.
So the beauty of these guys is they cater towards anybody. If you're capable of just sort of answering your emails and that's about the extent of your internet knowledge, these guys take you by the hand and they take you through step by step the whole process. Yeah. And you can turn a hobby into a money-making website.
Well, one thing that appealed to me with regards, in fact, this IBS Live website is built off a site itself, isn't it? But when we set it up, we didn't really have any knowledge whatsoever. And the beauty of setting up something via SiteSale in this particular instance is that you can go in with limited knowledge and you learn as much as you want to learn and you develop it as much as you want to develop. Because you say to most people HTML page develop, we wouldn't have a clue. We, ourselves, we've progressed our knowledge gradually over time, haven't we?
That's right.
And you're learning more and more, and then you start developing more and more things. And that was the beauty of this particular one. I'm sure there's many other types of web services that can help people out as well, but I think this certainly
so it's better for somebody to go to these people that will help you rather than.
Well, it's better. If you were going to create a website and you let's say you had an idea of anything, a hobby or something you're passionate about, you can start to learn to make an income from that and via somewhere like SiteSale. That's one option. That's if you can do it on the internet, which is probably the easiest way, to be quite honest, isn't it? Another way is you can write a book, or you could do some other form I suppose you could do podcasts as well. Could you sell them on iTunes? You can make.
I think there is a way of turning podcasts into a kind of a subscription type service. I'm not quite sure how you do that.
But most people browse the internet, don't they, and look for websites.
It's not something I'd go in for. I think podcasts should be free, to be honest.
Well, of course it should. Another thing you could do, though, it takes a bit more work, and you got to have a bit more confidence. That's one of the problems that a lot of people might have. Is if you're going on to if you had a YouTube account and you developed a YouTube following, you can then monetize that, can't you?
Well, you can. I mean, if you. I suppose, the confidence thing. If you have a knowledge, a subject, a hobby, something you're interested in, and you can just sit in front of a camera and make videos about it, that will, as long as there's a demand for, people are looking for that kind of content, then if you get, the numbers go to a certain level, you can become a YouTube partner. At which point you can put little adverts on your, on the videos, and then if they get clicks, you get a little bit of revenue from that. So I mean, there's all sorts of ways. But like I say, most of the ways we're using is based via the internet. But there are
pretty much all of it, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
But we've had some couple of products that we've taken around. That's that Middle-earth meditation thing. We actually took it on tour, didn't we?
That's
We
right.
went to a Lord of the Rings festival.
That's right. Yeah,
That was quite fruitful.
yes.
An interesting day out, wasn't it? Seeing everyone dressed as hobbits and elves and wizards and things.
But going down to the more esoteric level here, I mean, I think, how can I put this? A lot of people, when they're in the jobs, they kind of got this feeling from within that, I'm not on the earth to do this kind of thing. It would be so cool if you could sit down and just kind of figure out, what am I here to do? Where is my passion? What is it that absolutely resonates with me? And then maybe use what you've come up with, as a focus towards perhaps doing that from home somehow. Obviously it's different with everyone, but to me that would be a great thing to do.
It's one of the biggest challenges that most people have, though, is that you could probably go to any person in any job, and I guarantee it, pretty much the vast majority would say they're not happy in that job, unless it's something they love. Unless it's like if it's a profession or a career. Either they become a vet and they love being a vet, or they're a doctor and they're actually gaining they feel good about doing it. Yeah. But there's other jobs, probably more manual jobs, where people are in it and they're doing it purely to put food on their tables. Yeah. These are the ones that want to get out.
And that's the trap, isn't it?
Exactly.
Because they're already stressed because they have to make money.
So many people enjoy working for a company if it's something they love doing and they love going to work to do, but there are many other people that are stuck in a thing that this is not what I'm on here.
So let's face it, most people, they just work because they have to.
Of course they do.
But of course, our materialistic society that we live in doesn't help this. I mean, it almost perpetuates that misery, because I don't know about you, but I can talk about myself from years ago. What I used to do, I used to be in a job that I hated. And so, kind of to cheer myself up, I would buy material goods.
And you're stuck in a job.
And I've got to pay for them. So it's this vicious cycle. But if people can kind of just, a definite retweaking of the attitude and a realisation that there is a way out, but you have to kind of plan ahead and take steps to sort of come out of that loop. It's so hard because everybody's so.
So, would you recommend anyone to just give up a job and walk away?
Personally, I would.
Well, you would. I wouldn't. I would never. I wouldn't ever say anyone to give up.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because it forced me to change. Yeah. Quite often, we're so comfortable in our own little comfort zones, our own little bubbles, that we'll think, "Oh yeah, that's a nice idea. I'll do that one day." But when I walked out my job, it forced me into that situation. It pushed me out of my comfort bubble, and I had to change. And that forced change, and it was absolutely the best move I ever made in my entire life. And I could never, ever go back now to doing anything else.
Still bloody risky, though, isn't it?
Yes.
Put it this way: if I walked out of my job, we wouldn't be.
It's more difficult for
most people would lose their house. You'd lose your everything.
But what's the worst thing that can happen?
Well, that's the trap, isn't it? That's the trap.
That is a trap. Yeah.
I mean, there's the chance of you actually physically ending up on the street are actually going to be pretty low, because you'll have somewhere to go. You'll have a base to start from again. And if it means being radical and starting from scratch and rebuilding, but rebuilding in a direction that you feel much more comfortable doing, then surely in the long term that's a good thing.
You'd have to ask yourself, see when you get to about age 50 years old, whether it's been worth all the time that you spent before doing something you hated to be still living where you are
that's
now.
the biggest tragedy.
So this is where it gets almost philosophical, isn't it? Because we come down to the whole meaning of life thing and everything. And
it's all right. When you're young, you can kind of fill up the empty spaces with, like you said, material things or going out and enjoying yourself. But when you get a bit older and you think, what have I done for the last 30 years, and was it worth all that time I spent doing things that I really hated and trying to block them out with drink or partying or
distractions,
music, films and whatever.
Well, I ain't going to go into on this one too much on this blog, this podcast, but I've been reading an awful lot of sort of Eckhart Tolle stuff. Mindfulness, being in the present moment.
Mindfulness is becoming very.
I think that it's
current, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's one thing that I would recommend anyone to read. If you're ready for it.
I was going to say, what was the one that wasn't quite... Because I know Eckhart Tolle stuff, some of it's quite heavy going.
Well, it is heavy going. Well, the thing is, he wrote a book called The Power Now, which is like a masterpiece in my opinion, but it is quite hard to read. But then again, what he did is he created another book to supplement that called Practicing the Power Now, which was like an easier version, taking some of the basic, the gist of what was in the main book in an easier format.
Right.
That's what I'd recommend people to check out. There's also another one called The Mindful Manifesto, which is not by Eckhart Tolle. I can't remember. It was by two other guys.
Oh, but yeah, one of them's got a really funny name, hasn't it? I can't remember it. I've got that one. I'm working on that one now.
Yeah, that's more mainstream, I suppose.
Right.
I don't know, but
we'll have to put some links on this page. We'll put some Amazon links to the specific books, so people can go and have a quick look at them.
Apparently, a lot of counsellors are telling people to practice, advocating that mindfulness.
Absolutely.
Whether
really? When you start to, I say it's not cheesy actually, when you awaken, when you actually start to become more aware of what's around you, you appreciate
this I will
things.
say for IBS sufferers. Sorry?
So go on.
Well, the one thing I will say for IBS sufferers is it's very hard to be mindful when your stomach is absolutely
that's a difficult thing. So it's hard for me to comprehend because in the way that Eckhart Tolle talks about it, calls it the pain body. And the thing is, it sounds... Because I'm not really in a position to talk about it because it's quite complicated. I'm trying to get my head around it myself. But he does go on and explain about how you deal with things like that.
Well, I should go read that.
I think honestly, well, the thing is, that's the best thing I can suggest, Sian.
Yeah.
Read it yourselves, see how you relate to it, because you might think, well, this is rubbish.
Yeah.
But they might think
I wouldn't think it was rubbish but
at the right time, I think at the right time, you might read it and think, well, this doesn't make sense to me. It's not right for you to read it yet then. And the thing is, when you'll know if you're reading it, if it resonates with you, if it's somebody that you're ready to follow. If you're not, then put it down and go back to it another time.
I do find meditation actually is very relaxing. The trouble is, it's relaxing when I'm doing it. I can't hold on to that feeling.
Right.
But at the time, the first few times I was doing it, I was actually looking at a YouTube channel, and it had a kind of kaleidoscope pattern on it.
Oh, right, have your eyes closed,
no, I did after that because I was watching. I was doing this meditation and watching it, and my head was going further and further towards the keyboard.
Headbutt the screen at some point.
But I was actually it was very relaxing. It was.
That's how meditation.
If you could maintain that kind of relaxed feeling, it would really help.
I haven't done it for a little while, but I used to listen to those meditations, 20-minute long meditations.
Oh yeah.
And I used to do it religiously about 4 times a week. And what I found with that, just going for an hour, well, I mean, they're 20-minute longs, but for about an hour, you're just so relaxed. Yeah. And that has a kind of a knock-on effect. Just going into that relaxed place several times a week, it has this overall calming effect on your whole system, and the IBS reduces dramatically.
Yeah, that's why I think with all the medication that people take for IBS, I think I really want to try tackling the actual stress issue in a different way through perhaps meditation or mindfulness or...
Well, here's a new slant on that. I've started, don't laugh, I've been experimenting with shamanic journeying.
And did you do that? Yeah, I remember you talked about that.
I've had 4 journeys now, 2 of which now, my second one and the last one I did, had some very strange kind of stuff going on in my head. Very, very.
I want to know.
Very, very easy. It's very. I bought this book on the basics of shamanic journeying, and you basically it's like meditation, but you're very. It's also like what is it when you lucid dreaming?
Lucid dreaming.
It's kind of like being in a daydreamy kind of trance state, but knowing you're in a and sort of being able to control it. And the more you do it, the more you kind of get to control it.
Yeah.
I say that in a very sort of limited fashion, but you're much more aware that you're in this kind of trance state, but you're awake in this trance state. And you basically, instead of listening to a recording like the meditation ones where there's somebody like telling you a story and talking you through, this is just a drum beat. You listen to a drum beat, and it kind of puts you. It's almost like a primal thing, because I know we all have this. Whenever you hear like a primal drum beat, if you hear it long enough, you kind of get into it.
Yeah,
and,
you do. Yeah.
And it's like that, but it's definitely worth having a peek at. If you
Have
want,
you got any links to that?
I've got a book.
Yeah,
Actually, I've got a book that you can borrow if you want, and it's got a little disc with it with the drum beats on it.
I'm already weird enough.
But yeah, that's for those in the audience that are a little bit more esoteric than
no drugs or goldfish were harmed when using it.
Well, I like the way that this conversation is sort of evolved from working from
That's
home
what conversations
to
do.
shamanic journey.
Well, they do. Conversations go.
So as a summary, what can we say take away from this then? Get a copy of Eckhart Tolle's book, download one of those meditation things, listen to some meditation, and then possibly look at Site Self for setting up a business. After you've chilled yourself out.
I think working from home with the internet is just going to get bigger, isn't it?
It is. There's whole scopes.
And people think. I think the problem is people think there's nothing new that they can add to that market, but there is. And if they need to start from the very, very beginning, then they should look at first of all setting up a website. I mean, it might be expectant mums that knit little things for newborn babies. It might be something to do with manga or anime that you're fabulously interested in.
That's the best thing, you find a niche, don't you?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But don't think that what you're interested in can't be productive and can't bring you money in, because there are ways, aren't they? There
Absolutely.
are niches.
And there's nothing better than working for yourself, doing something you love to do, and it brings you in an income. That's just that you're just. The thing is, it has. There are all sorts of other ramifications that you become so kind of much more happy.
Yes.
And when you're much more happy, IBS kind of becomes less of an issue. You might not necessarily cure it or go away, but it becomes less of an issue, and it all has this continuous sort of knock-on effect, and it's just wonderful.
It'd be interesting to know how many people that look at the website have thought about this or would like to do it, but can't see any way to actually start. So if they want to, put something on the front page about links they could go to or to start off.
I'm just trying to think. That's what SiteSell does. They've got this little niche finder, haven't they? You type in your interest.
You normally just type in a keyword or something that you would like to. Cause that's the biggest thing. If they say you did use SiteSell or something similar to that, the way that they would say, instead of like saying I'm into fishing. Okay, which is a niche on its own, but there's probably a little niche within that area, which is better. I'm into fishing with this bait or whatever. If you can do that and you put a website around that, then you've got the niche market, because basically thousands of people across the world will find your thing on that particular thing.
Exactly.
Fishing with this, looking for this fish with bait.
Yeah.
That's that. It's a bit more complicated. You'd have to go into it a bit more, but someone like that, so it does teach you how to do it.
Well, they've got this little machine, haven't they? You type in your interest, and it comes back with all these different subjects, and it tells you how much
branches
demand.
Exactly. You can develop it.
It tells you, how much demand there is, and how much supply there is, and whether or not it's worth pursuing that particular. I was
going to say another option that people could learn to try and do, which some I'm doing, is trading, forex trading, currency trading. Although, to be honest, I probably wouldn't recommend it because it's very stressful. Probably not the best. But it's like any kind of skill. If you're prepared to put the time in and learn to do it properly, then it can be profitable.
Actually, some people thrive on stress.
Yeah, but the right sort of stress is good for you. Stress is good for you. But not too much of it, and there's different types of stress. I'm nowhere capable of trying to describe the different types of stresses, but but basically there are some that, like you say,
one comes from fear, one comes from excitement.
Is it?
Yeah.
But it can't be too much of the excitement can't be good for you either, can it?
That's all right.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, a thrill or something that makes you feel good. I mean, it must be very stressful for base jumpers when they're jumping off this, like 800-foot cliff.
But they get really
they have
high
this
on
huge
it.
high.
It gives them a big dose of dopamine.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So they just,
But it's all part of the yin and yang, the balance of life, isn't it? Getting, sort of like a square meal. You have your pudding, but have your vegetables as well.
Yeah.
It's just about balance and not too much of any one thing.
Well, no, that's right. I think you can probably get too much sort of craving for thrill seeking, because people do, don't they? They do absolutely ridiculous things. So yeah, there is always a balance. You have to have a sort of balance, but I'm trying to find it through meditation at the moment. And it certainly does work, like you said. It's very, very relaxing. It's just I can't hold on to it for the rest of the day. I
was going to say, because meditation, like I say, it has this cumulative effect. So
well,
the more you do it, I must admit, when I was doing it at my peak, when I was a couple of times I was doing it like all week long, every day, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd go and lie down, put my headphones on, do this meditation. And over the course of that week, even though I was only really relaxed for that sort of hour, I would be fairly I want to say spaced out was the wrong word, but I would be much more relaxed through the rest of the week.
Yeah.
As a general.
Well, a lot of these books I've been reading, a lot of the professionals, they recommend that you normally try and pick the same time every day. Either before bedtime's a good time, or in the first thing in the morning, or a convenient time. It doesn't have to be for long. They're saying you can do it, start for like 5-10 minutes, get into the routine of doing that, and after a while it becomes, you'll find yourself easily doing 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time.
There's no need to do an hour or anything like that.
Unless you're a monk.
Yeah. Which you just need to get into that relaxed vibe.
I think mine's about 20 minutes in the morning.
Is it?
Yeah. And it doesn't really feel like it, actually. It only feels like about 5-10 minutes.
So morning's a good time to do it, and on an empty stomach as well.
I don't
we tend to use those meditainment things. We want a 20-minute dose, we use meditainment. If we want a 10-minute thing, I just whack on my iPod and listen to some nice chill out music.
Yeah, I've got all my ones on my iPod. So
as well.
Yeah.
In fact, that's another thing you can do. Just put some nice music on, just relax and just listen to the music. Really listen to the music. Don't just have it in the background. Really try and listen for the different sounds of different instruments and try and pick out all the instruments and listen to them. Become part of the music.
There are many different ways
that's a form of meditation
getting
itself.
into a relaxed state, aren't there? They're perfectly legal.
Yeah. So there we go. I think we'll wrap this one up now then. We've had a brief talk on working from home, meditation and mindfulness and things, of all things.
It's been a bit of a ramble, hasn't it?
It's been a bit of a mixed bag, this one today. But yeah, bottom line, it can be done. There's evidence to suggest it can be done. I've got sat with Rick, who's he earns his main living now working from home. Sian, who does writing and other things.
I do a lot of writing. It doesn't actually bring me in any money, but I work on the website.
You love doing it though.
I love writing. Yeah.
I'm still stuck in a job at the moment, but I am looking. But the thing is, I'm taking action. I am doing the studying.
I say you've got a plan in place.
I've got a plan step by step.
That's the key.
Yeah, and it's working for me. Yeah, I can see it's going to take a lot of work.
Yeah, but you're using your spare time to study.
That's the most important thing I can say is that you got to use your time as much as you can productively. If you find yourself plugged into the telly or the plug-in drug as they call it, and you sat there for 2 or 3 hours and you think, and then you go back to work the following day and you think, well, why isn't my life changing? That's why.
Exactly.
Because you're going to work, you're coming home, you're doing all the your mind.
People do get tired though, don't they?
Yeah, but all you got to do is just dedicate yourself like 10, 15, 20 minutes a day.
Self-discipline.
Exactly. Get into a routine of doing something productive. Over time, you'll find yourself doing a lot more. You'll always try and fill yourself with productive time. But if you should start with 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, where you're going to start, okay, every day now, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to learn a skill. And I will develop something. And you just start from the very basic. Over time, I think I can't remember. I think about 21 times you have to do it consecutively. It becomes a habit then,
that's right.
and then it becomes. You basically that's how you learn new things. That's the only way, unless you win the lottery, that you're going to be able to get out of the situations, isn't it?
Yeah,
and then change your life.
But it is down to self-discipline, and if you really have to push yourself.
That's the bottom line. You've got to really want. It's not I'd like to do it and then get bored of it after a couple of times.
Well, it's got to be something you're going to be passionate about as much as
you've got to enjoy it. But that's like you pick up something you want to learn.
So is there going to be something on the site that people can have a link to if they want to start a website or something like that?
Well, I know we've got a link to the site, so I think it's on several of the pages.
So that would sort of take their hand and lead them through.
That's just an introduction video, I think, on there.
It certainly is worth people having a check. And if they're interested,
some people don't know where to even start, do they?
Well, that's it. Another thing is out there and help you, aren't they?
Well, when I put this pod page, because each of our podcasts are on an individual page, so if I think of any, or if we think of anything between now and the time this page goes live, we'll put some links in on the page.
But there you go. We're going to go get some food now, Rick, aren't we?
Yes, getting hungry now.
Nice healthy food, aren't we? What are we going to get?
McDonald's.
No.
All right.
Going to be good.
A kebab.
Oh dear.
Okay, well, we're off then. We'll catch up again soon. Like I can mention the previous podcast, we've got a questions and answers page that should be up by now.
Yes.
Leave some nice questions, and we'll make some podcasts about it. Possibly do some videos as well, maybe.
Yes, so watch this space.
Want to see our ugly faces that's on the TV screen.
And take care, look after yourself.
Yeah. This has been Kev speaking.
And this is Rick.
And Sian.
And Billy on the floor puffing away. Bye.
Bye now.
IBSLife.net. Created for people with IBS by people with IBS.